even get into it, though, I told you I saw Superman, right? Did you see it? Any chance?
I didn't catch it yet. No. But you did say you were seeing it. I do remember that. So, what'd you think?
I loved it, actually. I won't give any spoilers to this. We'll probably have to give a spoiler warning for when we get into our main subject today about A24 films. But concerning Superman, without any spoilers, I just thought it was very a lived-in comic book world. I'm not really a big Superman guy myself, no matter like what the iteration is. So I think it was kind of, in a way, my favorite version of Superman that I've seen. It felt like superheroes and kaiju attacks weren't that weird of a thing, and I kind of appreciated that, the not being super ironic about it. Felt like I really got to know Superman himself, which was really cool, and it didn't really like lean too hard or lean at all on like the other heroes that were there, or it's like, oh, this will lead into something. No, it's all about him.
That's awesome.
And there's a lot of great scenes. The last thing I'll say about it, there's a lot of great scenes where light just soaks in the whole scene. Like you're totally blinded by light, which I really liked a lot.
You mean like a light with like a haze or something like that? Like kind of being able to like let it flow through the scene or something?
Kind of hazy. I would say it's more so reminds me of things like Indiana Jones, when you see kind of like outside the tent, it's like perfectly white. That's what it felt like. It felt like just flooded with light during some scenes, and it just felt like you felt like you're a part of the world in a weird way. I don't know how to explain that, but you felt like the sunlight falling on your face, if that makes any sense. That's awesome.
Yeah, like it's almost the way that we sometimes perceive, like, I don't want, like, for lack of a better term, overexposure in our own existence with our own eyes, kind of thing. Yeah.
I think that, so it was a feature, not a bug. There was something about it where it kind of felt like, yes, let this happen more. Everything's too clean nowadays, and it felt like it was real daylight a lot. And I feel like there were scenes that were even shot outside that I feel like I heard people chatting about, and like when the trailers released, you could like tell it was actually shot outside without like a scrim or something like that.
Wow, that's awesome.
But I kind of thought that was neat, because it's like, yeah, but I get why, because they're trying to show this world that's real, and I thought it was great. I think you're gonna get a real kick out of it. Have you seen anything good or done any fun projects as of late?
I mean, I'm kind of like, embroiled in this one edit that I'm doing for a client that's some nice little 30-minute visual reel of like different rock bands and stuff, and it's going to play at a show, a party that they're doing, and they're like actually setting up a little like record store thing like at the party. So it's like they're doing this, they're literally leaning into the whole like vinyl records thing, so like they're going to be able to buy their merch like as vinyl records and stuff like that. So yeah, they want that to play while the DJ is like spinning and stuff like that. So it's going to play on like a 16-foot by 9-foot.
How long does the loop have to be for it, you think?
They were thinking 30 to 40 minutes, but as I'm editing it, I'm like, it may, because the party's gonna be about 3 hours long. So I'm thinking it's probably gonna be more like maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then it'll loop like 4 or 5 times. But I'm aiming for that 30-minute. But as I'm editing, I'm like, it's flowing and it's doing the right thing. But I'm like, unless we keep adding bands, like, because basically what I'm doing is I'm segmenting it by like putting in different bands and then having it to go to different scenes with different bands, kind of thing. And like the Beatles and Rolling Stones and like so they're just kind of flowing through with their concert footage and other animated elements and stuff like that. It's a fun project for sure, but it is literally eating up my every waking moment. So
yeah, that's a big edit. I mean, I've never done anything quite like that. And sorry, I keep sweating. I have to turn off my air, and these summer months are killing me. So we have to shift our finale a little bit back, like earlier in the year into season
like
2.
I think May, June, before we start getting into the crazy parts of summer for sure.
Yeah, but that sounds like such a long, like tedious edit. But that's great that you got a good flow going with it, because I feel like that's the hardest thing is to kick it off. So it's good to hear.
Yeah, and honestly, I just sent the client like a 3-minute like rough cut, and just to be like, oh, here's where we are, because it's like one of those things where you're editing so much and you're like, I should just send them something, because like I don't want to do all this work and then they're like, I don't I don't like it or whatever. He literally said I effing love it in the email. Like, it was I effing love it, and I'm
that's
like,
great.
Awesome. Great. I'm gonna keep moving forward like this, So to get that kind of validation from your clients is really awesome.
Yeah, it's a rare thing. So good for you. Enjoy it. Bask in it while you have it, because somebody will come up with all these kinds of bullets and notes and things. Good for you, man.
Awesome. Yeah. How about you, Joe? You do anything quick before we jump into our topic?
Just working and working on the film.
Oh
We
yeah.
just filmed yesterday for a good 6 hours. A couple of really simple scenes, some back and forth talking, and then I did some filming on the one wheel. Got some cool running in
Oh,
the park
sick.
scenes.
That's awesome.
Very diff. So I always hook up my B camera to the gimbal usually for kind of quick access because we're kind of really running and gunning a lot.
Oh yeah.
So it's the autofocus on it is just not nearly as good. So I have a manual focus on there. It's
Hmm.
really difficult to see on the little screen while on the
Oh
one wheel,
yeah.
and to match it. So I kind of kept it pretty wide open at like a 4 or 5 ish, to try to keep it a decent plane, but still always
Oh
have a
yeah.
little bit difficulty. But I do think we have enough. I don't know. Like, we'll see what this thing looks like when it's done.
I'm
I don't
excited to
know.
see it.
I may not watch it. You may have to tell me what it's like because I'm not sure if I want to take a look at it.
No, man, I'm really stoked to see it, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. So
Yeah. Just go to the premiere and tell me what
show
happens.
share it on social media, some of the BTS stuff, and it sounds like you got a really passionate crew there, and like I'm really happy that you got into there and you're able to now you're the DP, so you're able to be a very high level of creativity in the actual final product. So I think that's super cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of responsibility. We're a really small crew that's, all putting on a lot of hats for the project. But
Hmm.
it's kind of cool because I feel like we'll look back on this one day and we'll be like, this was such a great time and so glad we all did this. And I
Oh,
feel like we're in
absolutely.
it right now, and it's still so much fun. But I'm definitely anxious about it, and I'm curious to see what it's gonna look like. But yeah, it'll be cool.
Nice.
I hopefully we're gonna put in some festivals, maybe see if we can like sell it to somebody. I don't know what it's going to look like in the end, but it'd be cool if somebody picked it up. But yeah, they'll see what happens. I don't know, Mike.
Absolutely. It's I mean, the fact that you completed a feature, like when you get to that finish line, just that being able to say I've shot a feature film, like that's just itself like awesome. Not a lot of people can
Yeah.
say that, so
Yeah, I definitely want to do another. I definitely want to get a lot more shorts under my belt as well. And I think I want to start renting some other cameras to do them on. Like if I'm doing a short, especially, and we know the time frame of really locked in and when we're going to do it, it'd be
yep.
cool to be able to shoot something with a completely different camera, get a really different look, and just a new tool to play with,
Oh,
and to learn.
absolutely. In our
Yeah.
industry, it's
So
good to know like, different camera systems and to know like, especially ones that are being used to make the films too. Like a lot of times, like you're using the Lumix cameras, which are super capable. Obviously, they're able to shoot the films and stuff, and you're used to them from doing your normal, corporate gigs and other things like that. But just being able to say like, I'm gonna bail on the thing I know, the Lumix system, and jump into like a Red or an Ari for, or like
yeah.
Sony Burano or something like that. Getting one of those cameras to be, or like the if you could, I mean, I don't know if we can get them out here, but the Venice or whatever, like those cameras are,
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to take that kind of responsibility into my hands. Honestly, I'd maybe go a little couple levels down, see what Lens Rentals has, and then
there you
go
go.
from
Yeah.
there.
Well,
Yeah,
definitely,
I
definitely
don't know.
grabbing the Komodo. I've been having a lot of fun with mine, so that's a great, and also just to get used to it, like a new system as we talked
Yeah.
about, just kind of
Well, we're gonna get together soon and both shoot on that, so that's gonna be a great time.
exactly. So everybody, stay tuned for that.
I don't know. It's neat nowadays though because I feel like there's a lot of opportunity nowadays. I don't, I feel like the fear of learning something new is kind of less and less in this day and age in 2025 for filmmakers. And it kind of gives me a lot of hope, and it kind of brings me to our subject and who we're kind of looking at today, which is A24 films. And it's like they really prop up a lot of. It's kind of interesting because a lot of the films that they're putting out is not stuff that they necessarily create themselves. A lot of the stuff that A24 has been known for doing is buying and then marketing and putting out, and being able to be a bit more thoughtful in the marketing campaign and what kind of films that they're choosing.
So many films are like murdered by their marketing. Like they don't have good marketing at
Yeah.
all, and it's just like, they're great
you can
films, but
feel
they just
it.
don't have the legs to stand on in getting the word
Yeah.
out there, kind of thing. Yeah.
I think some Disney stuff is doing. I think they have good marketing teams, and they're really selling nostalgia well. It's tough though because you can feel that machine likeness to all of them that they're putting out for their marketing, and
Yeah.
they don't really seem to understand social media. Just not all of them anyway. I mean, look at the Jurassic World stuff. I mean, and not just this film. I mean, any of them in the past few years. It's like you guys really are just not hearing us or not getting the point about
Yeah.
what we want or what or I just like, come on, stop wringing out that towel. There's nothing left in it.
Right.
But
Right.
something I really love about these A24 films is that they're really, it's, yeah, I mean, some people might say it's like the weird factor is the thing that people are looking at or that you notice first when you look at an A24 movie because
Yeah.
you like got Everything Everywhere at Once, Hereditary, things like that. But I think what's really great about them is they're much smaller stories sometimes, and there's much more human, emotional, character driven, really well written stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's I don't know. That's why I'm really glad we're chatting about that. What do you feel about A24 films? Are you a big fan? Do you have a whole collection under your belt?
Yes, yes. I'm a super big fan of A24, so much so that I did subscribe to the Triple A24, not sponsored. But yeah, the Triple A24 app. I do love A24. It's a great company, and like you said, they really prop up the creator, and I think that there's not a lot of studios that do that, especially in the Hollywood system. A lot of it is about like the how much money can it make, churning something like we were talking about the Jurassic World, just churning something out to get every last drop of money out of it versus telling a great story. And I think that at the heart of every film is telling a story, right? So A24 does a good job at like finding films, or if they're going to be producing the film themselves, the scripts, because they are doing some original productions as well, but they find the stories that are just really interesting and really compelling, and then they get them made or market them so that they can be seen by everybody. And like you said, they're not like these, they don't have they're not these grand tales of grand extents. A lot of times, like they're enclosed in a world, and they do a good job at telling those stories, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting. I heard somebody say on one of the reviews of A24 while we were getting ready for this, talk about the one thing about A24 that's really interesting is that they're all very alike. You could tell you're watching an A24 movie, but they're not alike at all. Like there's
Yes.
nothing similar about them in the films, but there is something overarching about their different being
There's like an
different.
aesthetic to them almost.
Yeah.
That is not always and the thing is, I say aesthetic as in like, and a lot of times we use that in our industry as like being the actual image you're seeing, which a lot of times they're very highly produced, and they're highly they have a very good filmic quality to them, but also just the general aesthetic of the film itself, and like the environment, the way that it's telling the story, all that stuff is very similar between their films as well. I agree for sure.
And something I love about that too is like you said that it's a high production value. You can tell there's a really great talent that's working on each of these, and I would just kill to even like just take a peek on the set for one day and just see how these people do their thing, because it's so cool. But it's cool because they're not spending so much money. And I remember, I don't know, it was a very recent speech of an A24 film that just won for best film or something at the Oscars, and they're giving the speech about how, yeah, I'd love to see like, rather than one $400 million movie, like why not get like a bunch of other $40 million movies out? And
Yes.
I'm not going to try to do math on camera. But it's just like, and then he started talking about much lower and lower, and he's like, want to make a couple of $4 million movies? It's like, yeah, why not give them a chance,
Almost like the
cool.
Jason Blum approach with Blumhouse. Like, he makes these horror movies which are sometimes they're mixed bag quality. I guess that's one thing about, you don't want it to be too low a budget where you're kind of rushing through it and you're not getting the right kind of day. But
Yeah.
he does have a good model where he's able to make a lot of films for not a lot of money, and a lot of his films are really good. A lot of those films do end up being pretty good, especially because in the horror space, like. I mean, but I actually did hear a podcast though recently about Jason Blum was like talking about the Megan 2.0 and how that didn't do so well.
Yeah.
It wasn't well received because the genre switch and like all that stuff that happened. He said there's a lot of things that he did, and he's like, oh man, so it was actually kind of interesting to hear how his approach in that instance didn't necessarily work. But a lot of times he does kind of like give. And he also is very kind of like hands off as a producer. Like he'll like give them the money and like the budget and that kind of thing to do their thing, the creatives, and then they can kind of tell their story, which I think is really cool. So I know we're supposed to be talking about A24, but
no, I think it's relevant because I think things like A24, Blumhouse, Neon, we have like an interesting surge of younger companies coming out, and we need it because we see Warner Brothers and other big name things really struggling to kind of keep up with the times. And I guess, we're of a certain age. We graduated of a certain time ago from college. And I
Yes.
think now we're trying to understand, like, oh, things do change, and the companies do, big names do change over. So I think that's part of it, just being in our generation and our age group that we're at. But it's cool. I think it's really neat to see where we're at, and I really hope all three of those companies stick to their guns on moving forward with the content that they make, and keep making more interesting stuff. I mean, if you like read a book nowadays, it's like you'll find those much smaller stories, and you'll find them just as interesting as you did back in the day. And it's just like movies, I think, are feeling like, because of Marvel in a way. And I love Marvel, but I think they kind of ruined the thinking of producers, and that they need to make $1 billion or nothing. And
No, right,
it's
right. Everything's about like that bottom line. Yeah, like if it didn't make tons and tons of money, then it didn't do well, right? Versus telling a great story, and one that's gonna be like timeless.
Does A24 have any sequels?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think they do.
No.
I don't think they're a sequel house yet.
No, not
Oh,
yet.
please don't let it happen, please.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, I think that's good. I mean, I can't think of a single one of their stories that necessarily could lead into one, though.
Right. And that's the thing. Yeah, they're all like self-contained films that all do well on their own, and they stand on their own 2 feet, and they don't need like, oh, let's keep seeing more of whatever. They like the stories have good, honest conclusions, and like again, spoiler warning. Sorry for Midsummer, but what do we want to see her as like the head of this cult in Sweden?
Exactly.
Midsummer too.
The stories kind of lead you to a place. I don't really know if it's unrealistic, but they lead you to a place where it's like, oh, we can't really go back from here. We can't. There's nothing, or it's leading you to a place. It's like, no, the story's whole.
Right.
I really do love that about them, and I gotta say, like, I can't think of a single one that doesn't really have an ending that kind of leaves you in a spot where it's like, well, we're not coming back here. I'd be curious to see as time goes on if we ever do get any kind of sequels from them, like how Pixar is really struggling now.
Right. Oh yeah, exactly. It's crazy. I'm just thinking of alternate sequel titles for A24 films, like Beau is Still Afraid, or I'm on that kick now. I'm thinking about that a little bit. Anyway, sorry.
Hereditary, 3 generations down.
It's still scary. What's going on? Yeah, no, exactly.
Wait, so I know we want to reboot into this, but I am still curious about. We started the chat a little bit, and we failed at our segue on how we're going to properly get into our like top favorite A24 films. But Mike, you were saying yours, and I gotta say I'm a little sad to hear that, because that's also the first on my list is Hereditary.
And that was the funny thing. I think I segued into it because we were talking kind of about like that. We were talking about like making a great film with like not a lot of budget. The budget was $10 million for Hereditary, so it's like unreal that they were able to make that masterpiece for that little amount of money. And
that's crazy. That might have been right before Toni Collette. I think that was the movie that did it, and I feel like it's a shame how much actors cost, and I get it, and they deserve it. I don't know. I don't want to say they don't. They're put their images out there for billions of people to see, so it's kind of. I think that should be definitely considered. But it is. I wish it was something
just the tour de force that she did for that film was unbelievable. Like
she's incredible.
She became like the pain and anguish of this woman trying to figure out her family, you see her just go through all these different emotions and like grappling with it, and it was unbelievable. And like you said, like you have to take that into account too when you're paying these people, right? So and I obviously SAG-AFTRA has a way to make sure that these actors get what they deserve for crafting these characters that become believable.
She deserves everything. I love Toni Collette. Toni Collette had me when she was talking about if she made her mother proud in Sixth Sense. I still get emotional about that scene. Anyway, but dude. I think also I don't want to discredit anyone else in that movie too, because is it Alex or Nat Wolf? I think it's Alex Wolf.
We
He's
talked about
awesome.
on the pod. We did. We talked about him a little bit.
Oh
on the
right,
pod.
yeah, we had him on our we featured him on Scream Kings. Yeah,
We did.
Oh, he killed it in that movie. Everyone really brought their A game.
Literally, the scene where he slammed his head in the desk, he broke his nose. And
Yeah,
so he
taking
actually
method
like
acting.
went all out for that, which is so cool. So awesome.
Maybe too far. I don't know. I wouldn't do it. But dude,
Right.
he looked great in that shot. Or not great. He looked terrible, but great in a terrible way. Terrible.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Great. But yeah, I think for A24 films, that's like my top choice. I just feel like it's all encapsulating on what A24 is. I think it was probably for me. I definitely have missed a lot of A24 movies, and I feel kind of dumb having this pod and like I don't even want to really say the ones I have missed, but I do feel for me that was the one that was kind of like the both critical and audience pleasing, like
Yeah.
1-2 punch. That just it was a really
It was a
and
perfect
frightening film.
Yeah, it had a great story, but it had that A24 aesthetic of, kind of building a sense of dread, building a sense of like intrigue, like what is this cult about? What is going on here? Why I need to know more. And again, the multiple viewings thing, like you miss so many. I've seen Hereditary maybe like 4 or 5 times. I love the film, and
Yeah.
every time I watch it, I see something new, and I try and stay away from YouTube videos that explain things. I'm like almost like I just need to see this again, and I think I'll get more out of it and everything like that. Because I love like having to watch it again and be like, but wait, why did this happen? Let me watch it again and try and find it out. Also, I liked how there was a lot of different metaphors throughout the film that were just really impactful. Like everything was like, even like the intro where like there's like that slow pushing on the dollhouse and eventually turns into Peter waking up in his bed to his dad saying that they had to go to the funeral. That scene alone was just like, you're like, wait, that was the match cut on that, like because we were talking about that in Sinners on the podcast, like how they did that really well, and then that was another shot that just like blew my mind when I was watching it. I'm like, oh, they're pushing on this dollhouse, maybe it has something to do with whatever, and then literally we're there into the film and into the characters are in there and everything like that. So it was just like stuff like that. And everything's slow moving, everything's kind of, so you're building the sense of like what is going on. Let's see what this film is going to be telling us here. So really,
Hereditary is
awesome.
probably the only one that could get a sequel, but only in a The Omen to Damien The Omen 2 sort of way. Like they'd have to almost change the genre, sort of make it kind of political, find a way to do it in our world that makes sense. It'd be really hard. I hope they don't do it.
I hope they don't do it too, because the only one I would see is possibly something to go a little bit more into like the cult and like it's almost a prequel. I think like having it what happened before again, don't touch that because it's just enough. Like enough about the cult to understand the film. So like, why even tell that story? Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like they just wanted to summon payment. Like that's that's like that's all you need to know for Hereditary. So
Damon's so creepy. I love that movie. What's do you want to go for your number 2 or should I?
you can go. You can do your number 2 for sure.
I also struggle with these two in that it may not be my number 1, 2, and 3, and that I could kind of interchange them. But I would say that for my number 2, I have put down Everything Everywhere All at Once. I thought it was such a cool movie. I thought the way that they worked on it during the pandemic and that the team was so small and actually learned new skills to help build out the effects for it. I thought the themes, I thought being able to attack multiverse and make it so emotional and personal was really cool in a time that it seemed like cinema just didn't get that idea. I love the colors. I love A24's dark and colorful thing that they got going on with most of their movies. But that movie, especially with the circular light that goes around them while they're doing that kind of power up thing or, that, power through love thing. I just feel like I love that movie. And I know it was a bit long, but I always look for a film that makes me feel like a 90s Friday afternoon movie that you rented from Blockbuster. There's a very specific feel and of nostalgia absolutely. That these kids today don't get. But that's what made it feel. It made me feel like that.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Joey? You're embarrassed to talk about the ones you haven't seen. I actually haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once. So That's when I'm. I mean, obviously, it had all that buzz, like you said, during the pandemic. It was produced, and I'm just looking at the budget now. It was 14 to 25 million. So again, on the
Crazy.
smaller scale, like you said, small crew, and it did win Oscars, right? Like it won. It won.
Swept at the Oscars. It won
yeah,
Best
right,
Picture.
exactly.
I'm not sure. It may have won Best Director as well. I'm not positive. But all three of the major acting category. No, wait, not all. No, the three major categories that it was nominated for, it did win. So it won Best Leading Actress with Michelle Yeoh. It won Best Supporting Actress with my girl Jamie Lee Curtis, and she gave a shout out to all of us Halloween fans, which I thought was really sweet. And also bringing back Ki Kwan, and also that he won an Oscar for it. And it kind of reminded me like what a talent that dude is. And ever since he's been in that, he's been in a lot of projects, and he's been crushing it, just killing everything he's doing. And it's good to have him back. A little bit of movie magic in that guy.
Yeah, and that's another thing about A24 too. They're not like super like let's get like the biggest names on these projects. Let's whoever's hot, whatever. They get the right people, the right actor to tell the story, right? And like there's a little bit of that missing nowadays. Where like, oh, we have to grab a big name in order to sell the film, right? Or in order to get butts and seats. But when it's like
but how much can Timothée Chalamet and Ryan Gosling do?
Cleve, give some to the rest of us, please.
We've dwindled down to like a good 15 major actors that are in stuff, and it's just kind of like, what happened? I feel like
you keep
there was
seeing
a
the same
time where
faces over and over. You're like, oh no, but I see them as all these different characters, and you're like, you're almost seeing the person, you're not seeing the character, and that's where I think A24 does a good job of kind of being like, you don't need to know their name, or you don't need to know.
Yeah.
Like The Witch, actually, I'll go just lead right into my number 2, if you don't mind, Joey. That's my number 2. So yeah, The Witch is again, you didn't know it was Anya Taylor-Joy's first feature film debut, so you didn't know who she was. You didn't know a lot of the casting was done specifically in Great Britain because they wanted to have like actors that could do an accent that was as if they got off the it just landed in Massachusetts. So like they did a great job with the historical setting. They kept to that really, like they were trying to get that 15th century pilgrim accent. So that was really cool.
Did great.
Oh yeah, and also
it sounds
just
good.
doing a little bit of background reading into it. They did a lot of the lighting naturally. So like they used candlelight when it was candles, and they lit the whole scene with candles, which nowadays you're like, oh my god, that's like a sin. You got to give the camera so much light, but like it kind of, again, to your point of making the lighting felt real, like with Superman. The lighting, you felt like you were there. You felt like you were in this dreadful situation that they found themselves in. And
how do you think they did it with the candlelight? Did they shoot like super wide open, or not wide open?
They
at all?
must have been,
super,
pushing
super
the
tight?
lenses that they were using.
Like going to like a 1.8 or something. I mean, I wonder how.
Or
they
it was
focused.
the quantity of the lights. Maybe they used a lot of different. Maybe they used a lot of different candles that you didn't even see in the shot, but they were just kind of like near the actors, like when it was a close up or something like that. Maybe they used,
and maybe a lot of reflectors to kind of try to mimic it.
Like a lot of bounce and that sort of thing. Yeah,
give us a little mummy situation where it lights up the whole room, kind of thing.
Right. It's almost like because it sounds like a cardinal sin. Like, oh, they.
The Revenant did that. Most of the Revenant's filming was all natural lighting, which is nuts.
Oh, because the whole movie was like handheld, so they had to be able to just like
you can kind of tell. In the Revenant, it's like, yeah, I could see there's no light on that man's face. It's just, he's in a shadow.
Right. But again, like you just said, like when the character's in a shadow, they don't need to be lit because they're in the shadow, right? So like that kind of filmmaking, and that's again another thing A24 does a lot is they embrace those kind of like almost faux pas or no-nos or whatever that are in Hollywood movies, and I love that. So The Witch being like, we're gonna use all natural lighting and like natural to the scene lighting, so just candles and daylight and everything like that. It's like, yeah, do it. The characters are we're trying to immerse us into this world, and because I think the world and the environment is part of the story, and it's part of the story is trying to tell. It's not like, oh, let's get all these different lights to make it look perfect. It's more to make it look like you're actually there in 1630s New England. So
well, I think there's a way to like make things look right and look good and filmic. I don't want to say the word cinematic, but it's
trying to get
just
away
like
from that word for sure.
yeah, I just feel like we also maybe as a society get away from the idea that the whole idea of our art form is to kind of break it and try new things and make people go like, what the hell was that? How'd they do that? So I appreciate that a lot. And I definitely got to check out The Witch. I do feel like, I think it's already on my October 2025 watch list, for my October Halloween movies. I gotta. So I think I'll put that on there, but I'm excited for it. Anya Taylor-Joy's first movie too. She's incredible.
She's incredible, and look at what her career's happened. Like you said, A24 seems to be like almost like a springboard for people's careers because like gives them a platform to have these like great performances. So match a good script with a great actor or actress, and you're golden. You're right. So
yeah. I kind of have a 2-for-1 for my third choice. It's really kind of a 3 and 4.
Yeah.
But I'm only gonna bring up one very briefly because I talked about it once before. So I would say for my number 3 picks as a kind of consolation prize, the first one I'll say is I Saw the TV Glow. With more time I didn't like it when I first saw it, but with more time to sit on it, I really, really felt that movie. I thought they made some interesting choices. I gotta watch it like 3 more times, and just kind of really dissect it. I gotta stop watching Jaws so many damn times.
Insert Jaws clip.
But yeah. But it was a very beautiful movie, and I think there's a lot to it. There's some long talking pieces that I think could have been like, I wish more show don't tell kind of thing, but I think it might have more importance than I remember. But my true number 3 pick for this pod, I'll say, is Beef. I'm 3/4 of the way through the show. I've been really taking my time with it because I've been really enjoying it. I just like, it brings you back to like what people would actually do in certain situations, when people are pushed too far, when people get angry, and it's just like, it's very true. And I think I love Steven Yeun. I think he's so cool. I think he's such a great actor. I think he'd be so diverse, and I feel like I might have a little crush on him. I don't know. He's pretty cool. So but he's invincible. Come on, he could do anything. He could do A24 and stuff like that. And I think the man makes super interesting choices, and it just seeing that man feel desperate and just go nuts sometimes with just being so frustrated. I just get it. He just makes me feel a lot with this role. I'm super nervous about how it's going to end, and I think that's why I'm moving so slow towards it. It's like, I really feel like this is going to be one of those things where they kill somebody I like, so we'll see what happens.
I get that sometimes with shows, too, where I'm watching, and then I'm like, I don't want to keep watching because I don't know if I want to know what happens or whatever. But no, that's awesome. I haven't seen Beef yet. So, but yeah, Steven Yeun is a master at his craft. So, I mean, he also got a lot with The Walking Dead. So he was pretty, and he's kind of household at this point. So, but still, I mean, he, obviously is an amazing actor. So again, A24 picking the right people for the right roles.
Yeah, and they also got Minari, or I don't think that's how you pronounce it at all, but the film I'm talking about with that big background song that's used in everyone's social media lately.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But that was another A24 film, so it seems like he's got a cool tie with them. So maybe something else I'd want to check out. That looks like a great film.
He was in Nope, right?
Yes.
And that wasn't A24 though.
That's Monkey Paw.
Monkey
Paw,
is
that what it's called, Monkey Paw?
That's
Jordan Peele's company.
Jordan Peele's company. Yep.
Another great man of cinema.
Like you said, the rise of these great, independent, independent adjacent studios that are doing really good things for cinema in general, and I love it.
Say if there's ever a chance to work with Jordan Peele in any capacity, like he said, hey, we're looking for somebody to just help on this film and in whatever capacity, I'm like, yeah, I'll leave my job. Okay, let's do it. I don't care what this leads to, and if it's only for 4 or 5 months, let's go for it and see what happens.
Hell yeah. So my number 3 was Killing of a Sacred Deer, and I don't know, have you seen that
good one? Yeah, I've seen. That's an older one, right?
Yeah, I think like 2017. So that one was really great in the fact that it had an absurdist plot line, but like it felt so narratively, it had a narrative thread that was really easy to follow once you kind of got past a little bit of the absurdity. I loved also the performances of all the characters. Everybody just had like this feeling of like not sick, like everything's deadpan. Just the way that they were delivering their lines. In combination with the way that the plot was going forward, everything felt so off that you were just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And I love that feeling, and then eventually you start putting the pieces together. And also another one that deserves multiple watches, because now that I'm thinking back on it, like what happened and everything, I almost want to watch it again just because I'm like, wait a minute, I have to make sure that this happened because of this or whatever. So another great film from A24.
Yeah. That's one common thread you can say is a part of them is they're a film, not series, they're or franchise. I don't even know what you call this grouping of films, but this collection is they're all like really richer for a second or third watch to really kind of like
Yes.
re-see stuff and with new knowledge of the ending and understanding like what's coming.
Absolutely.
But yeah, they're great, especially like Hereditary. I mean, I don't know, I know we said it a little bit, but man, oh man, there's just a lot on a rewatch. It's just makes the experience so much better. So highly recommend if you watch that one and you weren't throwing up to check it out again.
If it's yeah, and again, like some of the films you have to be like, I really need to see this, that kind of thing, or like it's my cup of tea, which it is. The Hereditary is 100% up my alley, but if it's not,
Yeah.
then I'm sorry that we are recommending you these potentially.
I mean, we're horror freaks too, so
Yes.
there's something to be said for that. And I think A24 films definitely not only
Tickle that
leans
fancy.
horror, but leans weird horror in a way, and something that they're definitely a lot of them, like especially like Hereditary or Midsommar. They're things that will leave you feeling, and I saw a TV glow. You'll feel a certain weird way for a while after, and
Yeah.
they might not be for every day. It might
Oh,
not be a rewatchable.
But if you are able to do it, yes, definitely rewatch these films and get like more of the story on the second watch when you know the ending. Like that's and in a good way. Like you experienced the ending, and then now you get to experience it again, but be like, what are the clues that lead to that ending? And it almost encourages you to rewatch it in a different lens multiple times. Because you can know all the plot beats, but then knowing the interconnections and knowing the subtext and that kind of thing is really the way that you get it on those multiple watches for sure.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that Bill Simmons on the rewatchables went over Hereditary. So if that's not a sign that you have to watch them more than once, I don't know what is.
Get out there and rewatch it.
I think it's rare because I don't think I've come across too many that I haven't enjoyed. But is there one that just didn't sit well for you?
Yeah, I think the one that I would say was not my most favorite was the film Men in 2022. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've seen that one or not.
No, I haven't checked that one out.
Yeah, that one. I would definitely say watch it because it had some good ideas, but it unlike, and it was written by Alex Garland, who is an awesome writer and all that.
Yeah.
So it may also be me just not getting it or something, but I felt like it was unlike Killing of a Sacred Deer. It was a little more. It went into like a little more of an absurdist, especially towards the end when they kind of like really like hammered some stuff home with like visuals and like everything had a deeper meaning kind of thing at the end. And also you relied a little too much on CGI at that point, and not to I don't think that's a spoiler, but like it relied on CGI a little bit, and I'm like it didn't look that good or something. And it was something about it that towards the end it just didn't land for me. Yeah, it was trying to do a little bit too much with, I guess, a smaller budget. So I think that's why it didn't 100% land for me. So I would definitely say give it a watch.
Do you see Warfare yet?
Not yet. No. Did you? Is that your?
Yeah. No, that's not even my pick. But I think it's also Alex Garland did that one as well, and I did notice a lot of good practical stuff in there. So I'd be curious to see how you feel about that. Maybe it was just the resources of the project.
Yeah,
because it was good, and it was very practical. I very much felt what was going on there.
Oh, that's awesome.
However, like for what they were marketing for being like this new type of war movie, I don't think it was that. And I kind of felt Tropic Thunder-y about the performances a little bit. Not that I love every single one of those guys in that movie. I think everyone did a great job. I think I love Kit Connor. I think Will Poulter's great. I think Charles Melton. I think we should really watch that dude. I think he's really going places. But Tropic Thunder, it kind of like made fun of what actors felt like while filming war. I can't help but think that now. And I'm not sure if it's all about all war movies, but I feel like they were really into their roles. And I don't know, it just wasn't anything that I feel like I haven't seen already. So it's like, but I do think it was pretty darn good work. So I would definitely recommend it. It's gruesome though.
Yeah, I definitely want to check Warfare out for sure. But so that was my one. The Men was one that I didn't really 100% think I felt like it had the A24 vibe, but it didn't land. Especially like I said, the ending wasn't. It didn't. It was like we got taken off, and then we're starting to hit turbulence, and then kind of like didn't quite land there. So yeah. So what about you? What about your one that didn't wow you?
So mine, I would say, my disappointment pick, I would say, I didn't really hate it, but I think I got my hopes up for it, and it just wasn't as good as I was hoping, and I kind of felt like there was a bit of money-making feel out of it. It felt a little less A24, and my pick for that is Death of a Unicorn, which was a very recent one to come out. I wanted it to be weirder. I wanted it to be sillier. You know, with Jenna Ortega and Paul Rudd.
A concept like that, like...
Yeah, exactly. I thought, like, let's lean into it. I think Will Poulter was a great pick for it. And hold on, there's one other guy that I love in it that's in a lot of different stuff. Richard E. Grant. I love Richard E. Grant. Ever since I saw him in Spice World, that guy has been stuck in my funny bone. That guy, I love him. But yeah, I just thought they should have given him more to do. I don't think Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega was the pick because I think they're just too popular right now, and I wonder if that's where a lot of the money went to. And
Right.
I just felt like, I hope this isn't where A24 is going, because it wasn't,
Right.
it just wasn't good enough. It was just too silly. And I was just, or like I said, not silly enough, but silly in a filmmaking way. Like, I feel like they didn't try hard. I feel like they're like, oh, this will make money, you know?
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Oh, because I saw the preview for that and stuff, and I was looking forward to that. But I'll still give it a watch. But yeah, that's
should. I think there's good stuff. There's good stuff in it for sure. There's funny moments. I think everyone has a good. Will Poulter has a lot of great quotable lines. But I'm curious to hear what you think. You know, when we come back together, we're gonna have a phone call or something in between seasons to talk.
Oh yeah, that's a good time to mention that we're after this we're taking a quick season break, so we'll be back in like September-ish, October-ish.
Yeah, so, I don't think we mentioned it all. This is technically our I'm really sad even to talk about this, Mike. I hope I don't get emotional. But I feel like, so this is our technical season 1 finale. We meant to kind of wrap things up a little sooner before the summer heat got to us a little bit too much. So yeah, I feel like, you know, coming back in late September, maybe like come back for October for our like Halloween type thing. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I can't believe it's been a year already that we've been doing this. What's happened?
It's pretty nuts. Super stoked that we were able to get this thing going and just be able to chat about the films that inspire us, as well as like video production stuff. It's always good to be able to bounce ideas off each other and be able to, and also now that we have an audience, you know, we're able to help others as well, or give others ideas for stuff to watch and stuff. So I think this podcast is just super great, and I'm really happy that we got to get this season 1 under our belt.
Same. I have some wishes for season 2. I definitely want to put out more. I definitely want to have more guests on. I definitely want to talk to more people like who are doing interesting projects, maybe people that we don't even know. Maybe we'll get some cool opportunities to chat with some people who are doing some stuff just throughout the United States. But yeah, I definitely want to get something more regular going on with us. And I think we just need a pinch more horror related stuff. And I have to watch
always
more
use more horror.
Yes. I don't know. If you have any scary movies that I should be checking out, I'll definitely take some notes on it and come back to talk about it.
Exactly. You know, like a pen and paper will write you a whole list. I have a list of stuff that I need to watch too that's whole horror related. So yeah, I can't get enough.
Yeah. Have you? What do you have coming up? What is there any? Since we're not going to be chatting for a couple of months, are there any movies on your horizon that you're really excited to see?
Well, I was actually as far as A24 goes, I prepared one. Eddington is coming out soon, or just came out. It's coming out soon, but that's Ari Aster's next, project. Takes place in Truth. I don't think it takes place but it's filmed in Truth and Consequences, New Mexico. So it's a Western, a neo-Western film, which I've always had a soft spot in my heart for neo-Westerns. I just love that, not just neo-Westerns, all kinds of Westerns. I grew up, my grandfather and I used to watch a lot of the spaghetti westerns and stuff. So I'm just a big fan of that genre, John Wayne and all that stuff too. So the fact that it's a neo-Western too, it's like it takes place, in today's era. And I think it's a very politically driven film. It's got, there's race for sheriff, I think, is like the mayor is the big like circling point of the whole film. So it's gonna be a very interesting film, I think. And again, Ari Aster is gonna throw his crazy spin on it, so I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what he would do with a Western, because it's not something I don't know what the last Western I've seen come out was. I know we have a lot of like Western shows like Yellowstone and stuff like that,
Right.
but that'd be cool. That'd be neat to see him do that.
Exactly. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I gotta figure out a couple. I mean, I have a bunch of A24 films that I've left on the floor that I have to see. I have to still see. Like I was saying, I have to watch The Witch. But I think probably something that I'm gonna put on my list of things that I do want to see. I want to finish Beef. There's a movie Close that I really want to see. It's a foreign language film. And I think something that I've just kind of had on the back burner forever is Moonlight. I definitely want to see that. Looks
I saw
really
Moonlight.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's fantastic film. Fantastic film.
Yeah.
Really, again, very grounded. You feel like you're there. You feel like you're part of the situation as the audience member. You feel like you're like just there in the events, and it's a very beautiful story as well. It's a solid film.
I've just been waiting for a good moment to cry, because I've heard it's gut wrenching. So I'm just like,
absolutely,
sometimes I just can't get into that. I just like need to prepare myself mentally. But as for other things that are just coming out, I mean, what else is coming out? I'm excited for Fantastic Four coming out in a couple of weeks. Super excited for that. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm probably gonna try and see I Know What You Did Last Summer. I know it's silly, but I definitely kind of want to see it. I respect that they're copying Halloween and Scream. It's like they're just copying the name situation. But I think the biggest one that I'm super excited for is Weapons. I'm not sure who's producing that, but looks like scary as hell.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I was actually looking forward to Together as well, because that was going to be another summer horror one. But again, after that plagiarism thing, it got me a little bit rubbed the wrong way. But I think I'll still give it the old Sunday try there, but or old college try there. But we'll see.
I feel the same way. Ever since you told me about that, I'm kind of like, oh, I feel so bummed about this. I thought we at least had one good.
Because it's a movie that's already been produced. The film that they're plagiarizing is already like. It exists, it's a film. So,
I mean, you can argue a bunch of movies have been like that in the past, like that have come out. I mean, I can't think of an example, but I was just watching something on this very recently. It's just copies of stuff. But I don't know. It's cool. I think it looks neat. It definitely looks gruesome. I probably will still check it out, to be honest. But a little, I
don't
will be
encourage
thinking about that for sure.
No.
Don't encourage plagiarism. I don't encourage over reliance on AI for anything, really. With film related stuff. Don't stop using it, people. Oh man, this is crazy. I'm bummed, Mike. I don't want this to end, but I feel like we're closing in.
And well, it's definitely not. We're not saying goodbye. We're saying see you later, definitely. So, I mean, it'll be good though. We'll get Joey and I are going to get some stuff going in the back end too. We're gonna see the way how stuff's going with the the intro and the outro and the branding and all that good stuff, and we're gonna possibly think about even merch, like shirts and hats and stuff. I like my hats, everybody knows. So maybe we'll get that stuff going too. So we'll have to check back in and see in the fall for sure.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see you all again. Let us know. Please leave some comments on our stuff. We'll probably be pushing out some shorts of our stuff throughout the summer to remind you that it's there. Leave some comments. Subscribe to our channel. Let us know what you'd like to see us say. If you actually have followed and you're one of those great people who've left 5 or 7 views on one of those videos, then you leave a comment. You let us know what you want us to review next year or talk about production-wise. But, Mike, it's been so freaking great doing this with you this year. I gotta say, I was not sure how long we'd last with it, just because I've been on a couple podcasts now before, and pod fades a real thing. But I think you're amazing. It's been so great to work with you on this, and I've said it the whole season, and I'll say it again. I do think you are just such a talented man, and I feel like I get to learn from you every time I chat with you. So I'm just very proud to be here with you today, my friend.
Well, Joey, I really appreciate you saying that, and I can't say that. I have to say the same about you as well. And I mean, you said it, so I feel bad that I'm just copying you. But no, I love that we have this avenue to both be able to chat and talk to each other and both learn new things from each other. Honestly, and grow as not just videographers, but as people that enjoy film and enjoy talking about film. And that now we get to kind of share it not just with each other, but also with an audience that are also like-minded and happy to see these great films. So it's been more than a pleasure to do this podcast with you, and I'm excited to see what happens in our next season. So I'm really, really excited for that.
Me too. And maybe some field trips. I don't know. Just saying.
We'll have to
Just
see.
throwing that idea out there. Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Well, thank you everyone for listening to for this A24 episode and for the season 1 as a whole. We love that you're here. We love you all. We appreciate you watching and listening. And thank you. And give us a look out for season 2 in the fall.
Thanks, everybody. See you later.